Hi guys, how we doing? All right. So this is our master class for how to break up with diet culture. And I am so pumped to bring this class to you guys tonight. It will be up. It will be available for a replay right here in the group. When you get on, drop a 1 if you're live, a 2 if you're watching the replay. And I cannot wait to find out what nuggets you take away from tonight and how you're going to use them. I'm so pumped. All right. So, to get started, I'm going to actually start with just giving you guys a little bit of information about me. So, if you don't know me, my name is Tabitha Sweeney. I am so glad that you're here with me. I am the founder of the Diet Culture Breakup. It's a 6-week program. And to give you just a little bit of my history, I have actually been in the fitness industry for over a decade. And the changes it has been through with me. So, once upon a time, I was the trainer who was like in your face and was like, keep going. And then I became a mom and everything changed. And I realized there is this huge gap in the fitness world for moms and for women. And for women, especially who want to be healthier, they want to do better, but they are not trying to become a Victoria's Secret model, right? They are not trying to stand on a stage and be perfect all the time. They just overall want to feel better. And the industry doesn't offer that. So, I had 2 kids. A year later, I opened my own fitness studio doors. And from there, what set me apart was my philosophies. So, what I have done is I've transitioned into the coaching out of fitness and into coaching as it is more conducive to the lifestyle I want, especially as a single mom. What I've done is taken my philosophies and held true to those. And we keep preaching them and I keep pounding them in without the weights and the fitness classes. So that is just my brief overall. I have a background in fitness. I'm a single mom of 2. I have been through hell and back on a personal level. I believe in living a transparent life. And truthfully, my entire mission is just to make women feel better and let them know that they are empowered. So, tonight's class, 3 parts. Starting with part 1, we are talking about what is diet culture. Diet culture is the pervasive belief that the shape and size and look of your body is the most important thing in your life. It's the belief that that is where your value comes from. It is the root of fat phobia. It is the root of this twisted belief that the size of our body can actually tell someone else how healthy we are or how lazy we are or how happy we are. And it's just not true. So diet culture, we see diet culture everywhere. And the more you are looking for it, the more you will find it in places you were not necessarily expecting it. So, diet culture is really our society's obsession with how much we weigh. And it is the pressure that society puts on women to look and maintain a specific weight. And the more I learn about it, the angrier and angrier I get, because I truly believe that diet culture is so toxic and it causes trauma that unfortunately, in many instances, is not recognized in the medical community. And personally, I think we have a shortage of mental health certified mental health professionals across the board, but I do think that we lack in the trauma that comes from diet culture. So, my goal and my mission is to help dismantle diet culture. My goal and my mission is to help women break up with diet culture so that they can be free and no longer worry about what their body looks like, what they're going to eat. So I'm going to give you just a few examples of diet culture. And this is like this many compared to what's out there. Have you ever gone out to eat with your girlfriends and you're like, you go ahead, you order next because you want to see what everyone else is going to order before you order? Because in your mind, you're like, well, if they all get salads, then I'll get this salad. But man, I really want this. So if they all get actual meals, then I'm going to get this meal, right? Like we wait to see what what someone else is going to get because we're scared if the three other people order salads and we don't, they're going to judge us. Have you ever yourself or been with someone who is eating something and they immediately go to justify it to you? I don't normally eat like this. I had a really busy day and I just stopped at the gas station to grab something. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever been in a group, you're in a bathroom, you're at an event, whether it's a wedding or somewhere else where you're dressed up nice, and there's a group of women in the bathroom? When is the last time you ever heard one of them look in the mirror and be like, damn, I look good tonight. This dress highlights my ass perfectly. No, I've never heard that. Never. We're like, "Oh, are you sure this really looks okay? Oh, yeah, honey, it looks great." Right? That is what we've grown up with, and that started I honestly cannot even pinpoint when that started. A long time ago, elementary school, maybe when we started having to change for gym class. I'm not really sure, but where you knew it wasn't okay to say out loud, no matter how you felt, it wasn't okay to say out loud that you feel good about yourself because you're expected to point out the flaw, right? I want you to tear all that up. Get rid of all of those beliefs. Get rid of all of the self talk because I am going to teach you tonight how to break up with diet culture. There are 6 very specific steps. And I believe wholeheartedly in these 6 steps. And I believe wholeheartedly that they go in this order. So here we go. Step number 1. If you want to break up with diet culture, you have to be aware of the pressure that is being put on you by society. If you just accept it as part of the norm, if you keep going through and you're not able to call bullshit out on it, we can never change it. You can't break up with something that you don't even know you're involved in. Does that make sense? Like, okay, you have a stalker, all right? The stalker can break up with you, but you can't break up with the stalker if you don't know he's there, right? Do you get where I'm going with this? So, the very first thing we have to do is really become aware of of where diet culture exists in society, where it exists in not only social media, but in the movies, in the TV shows, in the advertisements. Because let me tell you something, even the no filter ads and the ones that are really, really trying to show more real bodies and more diverse bodies, they're still photoshopped. It's like a little secret, right? Even the no filters still have a filter on them. So if we don't start recognizing these things, if we don't start recognizing that we feel the pressure to remain a certain size, then we can't ever alleviate that pressure. Step number 2 is self-awareness. This is getting really raw and vulnerable about yourself. What do you think? How do you actually feel? What kind of words are you actually saying to yourself? Catch yourself. And we start really tuning into the fact that, do you decline invitations because you're kind of uncomfortable in your clothes, or because you're kind of not sure? "Ugh, you're not super self-assured in your body, so if I go out in public and, oh, but what if go to the beach? I don't know, man." Right? If you're making excuses for yourself, and we've all done it, and we all will always do it, because excuses are fuzzy, warm lies that we tell ourselves, and they are much warmer, easier, and fuzzier to believe than the truth. So if you continue to tell yourself these fuzzy little lies about why you're not going, like, "I have too much work to do," or "I have to get up early in the morning," as opposed to, "I don't want anyone to see me in my shorts," or "I don't want to meet people I don't know, because what are they gonna think about me?" If you won't say those things to yourself, again, we can't change it. One of the biggest absolute necessities for change is awareness and accountability. Oftentimes people they misunderstand that, and they think that the only way you can change something is to, like, go all in and to know the rules and to change all your habits. But the reality is we have to get to the underlying roots, and we have to understand what we're really feeling. So we have to become ultra aware of ourselves before we can change anything else. If we are insisting that diet culture does not hurt us, that the whispers we heard in the girls' locker room in 6th grade didn't shape us, if we don't wanna say that out loud and we don't wanna say that to ourselves, we're never gonna heal that trauma. Because this is the thing, part of the self-awareness is healing past traumas. And let me tell you something, as somebody who has healed a shit ton of trauma over the past 5 years, sucks. It's hard and it's ugly. You will cry ugly tears. Nobody wants to hear some of the things you're actually thinking, but you have to be willing to go there to overcome it. All right. Now, step 3, this is one of my favorite ones, is the clarity of what you want. So in order for you to actually break up with diet culture, we're gonna get ultra, super, super stinking clear on what you want. Now, I call this is one of my favorite lessons to teach. I call it ego versus heart. Side note, once upon a time, I actually thought that, like, I came up with this, like, yes, I thought I was that smart. I thought I came up with this. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, ego versus heart. Yes. And it's an actual scientific thing. And you can actually find research on this. It is a true thing. So, and I did not create it. What this means, and the way I used to use this is girls would walk into the gym, and every single one of them would walk into the gym and they'd say, I want to lose 10 pounds. Okay. And they'd say, I've been trying and I've been trying and I've been trying. Okay. Why do you want to lose 10 pounds? And they tell you, okay. And the next you start getting into their habits and what they're doing. And then I ask the really, really hard question. Do you really want to lose 10 pounds or do you just feel like you're supposed to want to lose 10 pounds? When you actually stop and ponder that, guys, it's heavy. And I have been there and I have done this. After I had my daughter, I was so humbled because I did not know that my confidence was actually tied to my body. Back then, if you asked me, I was like, yeah, I'm super confident, but I'm just super confident. It has nothing to do with my body until I got pregnant and gained 40 pounds. And suddenly I wasn't so confident. Right. And I was like, oh, and then it hit me one day because as I sat there thinking about things, beating myself up because I know exactly what I need to do to lose the weight, it hit me and I realized I didn't want to do those things. My life no longer looked like what it did back then. Why did I wanna lose the weight? Because I felt like it was expected of me, especially at that time, I was still working in a local gym. It was expected of me to get my body back, expected by staff, expected by clients. Now, is that true? I don't know, but it is certainly the truth I told myself. But the reality was when I sat down and I actually pulled it apart and I actually looked at it, I wasn't willing to do the things. So I can't claim that that's what I want if I'm not willing to do the things. And this is where ego versus heart come in. Ego is what society tells you. It's what you've always heard. It's your shoulds. But man, your heart, it's what you really want. It's the truth. And if they're not running in alignment, then this is all they're doing. And when this is happening, you'll never win. Never. You will never reach the goal. You will never, if you do reach the goal, you're going to be miserable because you don't actually want, that's not the life you really want to live. So, this is a really, really important one. The other part that comes into this clarity of what you want is understanding that it's okay to change your direction. It's okay to change your mind. All right. Again, a lot of people do not realize that. And I will use myself as example again because before I ever got pregnant, I said I would never be a stay-at-home mom. Never, 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 not in a million years. No way, no how. And at 19 weeks, I was on bed rest and I was bawling my eyes out. And my mom said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "I don't want to go back to work." And she's like, "Okay." And we were in a position that was a possibility for me. And she said, "Okay." And I started crying harder. And she's like, "What's wrong? Why are you crying harder?" And I said, "Because I feel like a hypocrite. I said I would never do this. And now I'm doing this." Do you know that nobody cared except me? And when I tell people that, they look at me like I've got 18 heads. Nobody cared except me. So it is okay to change the direction in the clarity in what you want. And that is super, super important for us to understand. So we need to gain clarity to know whether what we are going after is what we actually want or just what we've been told our entire lives. And then we have to make sure that where we're going is where we really want to be. So we've got 3 steps down. There's 3 more steps to go. The next step is changing your internal dialogue. Our truth and our reality are formed from the words we tell ourselves. All right. So we can, here's the thing, you can say all, have you ever been with somebody and you're like, man, they say all the right things, but like their actions and their words don't line up? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm laughing because I've been in a few of those relationships. But here's the thing, you can do all the right things, but if inside you're still telling yourself that you're not worthy, you're never going to gain confidence. You're never going to believe that you are worthy. This goes back again. And why do I think that these all go in a specific order? Because if you're not self aware, then you're not even looking for that when we get to changing the internal dialogue. So again, it's easy to be like, well, I'm doing all the things, but if you're not catching the negative that's inside that you're not saying out loud, we can't change it. So we have to be self-aware enough to know when we're saying nasty things to ourselves and when we start telling ourselves lies, because we all do. And then we get to stop and so what does changing the dialogue look like? It looks like in my brain, I'm thinking, oh, you're such a loser. These jeans don't even fit you anymore. You've had 5 years since you had Cal. These jeans should fit you again. Shut it down. And I have been known to have these conversations out loud. Shut up. I've had 5 years, but my life is not the same. I've been to hell and back in 5 years. The jeans don't fit me, but also I'm not doing the things that would make them fit me. Also, let's go back to the very most important question. Why does it matter if they fit me? How does that change my worth? Doesn't. I am not a different person based on the size pants I'm wearing. It's not a thing. My body is a vessel and it carries my soul, and my soul is who I am. My body is not who I am, right? If I got into an accident and they had to amputate half my arm, does that take away half of my college degree and the knowledge I have and my passion and my passions I have for things? No. My body is just a body. But again, back to social awareness. We have been taught that our worth sits in our body, but it does not. All right. It is really important to be able to know when you need to shut the conversation down in your head, when you need to change the conversation, and then how you go about flipping that script internally. How do you go about proving to yourself that your worthiness has nothing to do with your body? Because at the end of the day, that's what diet culture is. That's what we're breaking up with. We're breaking up with the idea that my body will determine my worth in life, that my body will determine how I allow people to treat me. No, worthiness is a birthright. You are worthy because you were born, plain, simple, end of story. You are worthy of living the life you want to live. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of having and accomplishing everything that you want. When we feel like life is supposed to be hard, and there are hard parts of life, there are hard seasons of life. I have been at the absolute bottom, so I get that. But I know somebody whose her father was an immigrant, and at one point she had said how it was this idea that you have to work this hard just to have the things that you have, right? And like that's what life is about. When I hear that, at one point in my life, I agreed with that 100%. Now, I still believe you have to work hard. I believe everybody has to work hard. I believe it's our like mission because my mission is to help women. I want to work hard, but that doesn't mean that I don't deserve to take my kids on vacation. Life is meant to be enjoyed. We are meant to feel pleasure, happiness, excitement. But again, society has taught us to, right? Like society has taught us that if we hear somebody and oh, they're bragging, they're this, oh, must be nice, right? All those judgments come flying out because that's what society taught us. And we don't want to be judged because that's part of being human. We want to be liked. And as children, what are we taught? To always share, to this. If somebody doesn't like you, you're like, "Well, what did you do to them that they don't like you?" What if we started teaching our kids they don't need to be liked? Who cares? Let her go. You can't be friends with everybody. It's taken me to almost 40 to learn this. Yeah. My goal is to make sure my kids know that way earlier. But again, when those things happen, we start beating ourselves up internally. We start that loop. We got to shut it down. Once you learn how to properly talk to yourself, then we talk about changing external dialogue. So, this is one no one wants to talk about, right? Because external dialogue comes in many forms. The first thing that comes to mind for me is gossip. We've all been there. We've all done it. We've all been guilty of it, right? You're sitting on the beach, someone walks by, and you're like, you believe she's wearing that? What are you going to do? Part of learning how to break up with diet culture is knowing how to reply when your friend says that to you. Because now you've changed your internal dialogue. So you most likely will not be the one thinking and saying it. But how are you going to respond when your friend says that? I usually try to flip the script. So for me, it's something like, damn, I don't know. I don't know, dude. I wish I had that kind of confidence. Kudos to her. Because you know what? She's down there living. I'm up here sitting in my cover up, sweating my butt off because I don't want to take it off to walk down to the water. Right? This is a really important one because this one, well, they're all important, guys. I hate saying that. They're all important. But this one brings to light a lot of garbage and a lot of hurtful truth at times that we don't always want to admit because we have all said things about somebody else. We have all thought things and we've all had things said about us. And this goes, it doesn't matter what side you are on. There is a like a in society, and tell me if you agree with me or not. There is this like perfect pretty spot where the world turns, right? But if your body is slightly too perfect and you are slightly too pretty, you must be a complete bimbo. People don't take you seriously, right? Because you're like, she got by on her looks. Wonder who she slept with to get that job, right? And then you hit that pretty sweet spot where the world turns, people take you seriously, and also you have that pretty privilege. It's like the the best the best spot in the world to be, and then there's that other spot where you went just too far. Man, she was so pretty before she gained that 10 pounds. Wonder what's going on in her life. Did you see her? Did you see her pants clearly got a little tight, right? I say all of this to say because it doesn't matter where you fall on the spectrum. We have all felt judged. We have all felt insecure. We have all said something nasty about somebody else or made an assumption that wasn't true. The external dialogue is where all of this comes to light and where you really start getting a clear picture of who the people in your circle are because you have now been like, I don't I don't want to be like that. Wow. That's ooh, that wasn't really nice. I don't want to be that person anymore. But the people you are with may still be saying it. Or this can also happen. You realize you were the person who started saying all of it. So there can be a lot of emotions packed into this one and a lot to unravel. But it's really important to have a few ideas of how you can change the script. How will you interact with your friends and your family who you're not going to convince to not talk about other people's bodies, right? I'll use my grandmother. She has passed away now. If you watched my live the other day, then you know that. But you also know I told you she was off the boat Polish, and we talked about everybody's body. There was nothing I was ever going to do that was going to stop that behavior. So what I had to learn to do was not engage, change the subject. Flipping the script with her was not going to work. So this is one, it's good to game plan and kind of have an idea of what feels in alignment with you. The last, the very last step in how to break up with diet culture. You have to give yourself permission and you have to empower yourself to do so. This is probably I told you that 5 was probably, like, the ugliest and, like, the rawest. This is probably actually the hardest. I think, hands down for me, hardest. Ooh, excuse me, I have a hiccup. You have to give yourself permission to stop trying to lose 10 pounds. You have to give yourself permission to let go of all of the rules that surround eating. It's not easy because most of us have had these rules in our lives since we were born. In fact, I'm gonna drop it into the group after this. But I actually wrote what I call the social contract, and it's really powerful. You know what? You know what? I'd like to read it to you. So, give me 1 second here, because I was not prepared for this, because I did not plan on reading this, so I don't have it pulled up on my screen yet. Okay. So, I'm gonna read this to you guys because I wrote this, a while back, and it is, I think, the perfect example. So basically, this is the contract of female worthiness. This contract of female worthiness has been entered into on your date of birth between your name, who will be referred to as woman, and society. The purpose of this contract is to keep the woman from establishing too much confidence in worthiness, as confident women are a threat to the patriarchy and big businesses that support it. The terms, the woman will only be worthy of love from herself or others so long as, one, she is able to maintain a dress size that remains in the single digits. Society will enforce this by making clothes smaller than they used to, but keeping the same tag number. So you think you're going crazy. Having plus size clothing begin at size 14, 16, when the average size woman in the United States is a size 16. Charging additional money to purchase plus size clothing while limiting the selection of items available. Two, she gets married and has children. Society will enforce this by continually asking her when she plans to get married, have children, and settle down. Growing increasingly quiet around issues such as infertility and miscarriage as to perpetuate the myth that it is the woman's fault. Continuing to delegate the laws around female care to be created and enforced by old white men. Continuing to force women to see a doctor for birth control while raising costs and backing companies who choose to not include coverage. Three, she is able to work full time while being a mother, participate in all child events, throw Pinterest worthy birthday parties, keep the house clean, drive children to all appointments, to the gym daily, make sure her husband feels validated and worthy, and never misses a deadline, appointment, or birthday, so that she may be the overall keeper of things. Society will enforce this by setting the bar so high it may never be reached. Making sure to criticize her regardless of what she does. Because if she works full time, society will remind her that her children are only little ones. But if she stays at home full time, society will remind her that her children need to socialize with other people and remind her not to coddle them. Streaming social media feeds to remind her that she is not good enough by surrounding her with highlight reels that have been filtered and edited. I'm going to drop the rest of this into the chat, but you can see this is all the pressure that is placed on women. That's what the contract is about. It's about all of the pressure, all of the ways it comes at us. And that happened because we were born. We didn't say, "Oh, I like the pressure she's under. Can I sign up for that?" No. It was just bestowed upon us, and here we are. So, getting out of that contract takes a lot of permission and empowerment. You need to empower yourself to go buy new clothes that fit your body. You need to give yourself permission to get in the pool no matter who's around to see you in your bathing suit. You need to get permission to break up with the people who are not bringing value to your life. You need permission to switch doctors because the doctor that you currently have won't stop harping on you about losing weight. Or because they are congratulating your disordered eating and praising it. Because that is diet culture. This is where you should be. Oh, what are you doing? You've lost 10 pounds since your last appointment. What have you been doing? I've been eating arugula and blueberries and nothing else for the past 18 weeks. Perfect. It's working, so keep it up. No. No. You do not need to sign up for a weight loss course at one of these clinics where there is doctors. Yeah, I know, I'm putting them in quotes. They are actual doctors, like, they have degrees, but they're telling you they put you on such a restrictive diet that they actually tell you you cannot work out. Anyone who's telling you you cannot work out while you eat on this eating plan, just just so we're all clear, that's anorexia. Medical prescribed anorexia. That's what that is. It cannot be maintained. And in fact, can result in death. No one likes to talk about that. No one wants to call out these big businesses. Here's one of the biggest things you need to remember, and this goes into like the dialogue. Whenever you're uncertain about whatever it is that's showing itself to you, I want you to follow the money. What was it? What movie was that? Follow the money. I want you to follow the money. Okay? And then I want you to remember this. Insecure women is a multi-gazillion dollar industry. Gazillions of dollars. There is no money in confident women. All of these companies set out to prove farther and farther and farther that you're broken. There's that like normal insecurity crack, and their job is just to keep cracking and cracking and cracking and cracking until you're like completely broken. And guess what? They do a damn good job of it. There is a gazillion dollars in an industry that tells you you can lose weight. This time you can do it. And guess what? It's not going to stay. Because every single one of those diets only makes money if you fail and you come and do it again. There's money in you failing, which PS, I hate the word fail. Failure is not real. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. Believe me, failure is not real. But the more these companies tell you that you're not good enough, the more you believe it. And when you think of how many women and people are out there doing what I do, trying to help you understand and learn that you are good enough, there's like one of us for every like 795,000 of them. And clearly, I mean, you guys know that I did not research those statistics, right? Like I'm just going to put that disclaimer out there. Um so I want you to understand that there is money in broken women, and they will break you no matter where on the spectrum you fall. So guess what? Doesn't matter. One of the biggest light bulbs I usually help people try to recognize and understand is that losing weight doesn't fix the problem. It's not a light switch, okay? Losing weight does not fix what you believe inside. So basically, what will happen is if you're like, I just need to lose 10 pounds. And when I lose that 10 pounds, life will be better. Okay. So you lose the 10 pounds. But now, guess what? You found something else wrong with you. You lost those 10 pounds, but now if I could just, my arms are kind of flabby. So if I could just tone them up. So then you tone them up and you're like, I mean, but my butt's still kind of flat. So if I could just get that a little bit plumper, because your body is not what's broken. Our belief system is what's broken. And if we don't learn how to change our belief system, we can never mend the trauma. We can never overcome the trauma. We can never heal. You have to believe that you are worthy and good enough, no matter what size your body is. So, one of the things, and people will, one of the things that people have a hard time grasping sometimes is what life can look like after the breakup. Like, what does that really mean? And I've heard everything on all ends of the spectrum. I have heard people who genuinely think that because I say I am anti-diet, that I am encouraging people to eat cake all day. No. I am a huge believer that exercise and movement for our bodies is good. It's good. Our bodies need to move. They were designed to move. So when you enter into this breaking up with diet culture, what one of the biggest misconceptions is that it means you're giving up on everything healthy. And that's not true. What it really means is that you are deciding what feels good to you. Okay? It means that you're checking your intentions at the door. What does that look like? That looks like I'm eating this apple. I'm eating this apple because it's cold, it's crisp, it's juicy, it's delicious. I love apples. Or I'm eating this apple. I can't stand the texture of apples, but my meal plan says I have to eat it. And when I get done eating it, it'll be good. It'll be good. I'll made it through. Are you eating it because it's on the meal plan? Are you eating it because you enjoy it? Because a lot of people do not know this, Doesn't matter what fruits and vegetables you eat, just find ones you enjoy. You are allowed to eat whatever you want. I would love for everybody to start listening a little bit closer to their bodies, to trying to understand, are they really full? Are they eating only because they're so hungry? And or it's so good, right? Like, we've all done that. You've been at the restaurant and it's so good, and you're like, "I'm so stuffed, but I'm gonna have another bite because it's just so good." When we go at our bodies from a deprivation standpoint, we are miserable. I want my clients, I want every woman on earth to make the decisions that feel best for her. So when they're choosing exercise, dude, whatever you like, there's no wrong answer. Could be lifting weights, it could be going for a walk every day, it could be Zumba class. There is no wrong answer. The goal is simply to get your heart rate up a little bit, right? I want every woman to practice mindfulness, to practice examining what she really wants in life, and to understand that health and wellness is more than just our bodies. We need to be financially fit. We need to be spiritually fit. We need to be physically fit. We need to be emotionally fit, right? Like, there are so many facets. And if any one of them is out of balance, then they don't all keep spinning. Like, when I think of that, I think of, like, the guy holding all the poles, like, with the spinning plates at the circus. Do people still go to the circus? I don't even know. But that's what I'm thinking of, right? All you gotta keep all of the plates spinning at the same time. And if one of them falls off and breaks, you can't be considered healthy, well, fit. And part of being healthy, well, and fit is knowing your value, is knowing your worth, is deciding that you are going to live and not be stopped because of fear of what other people will say or think or have said. The breakup at first feels foreign because it's a concept that's not reinforced everywhere we look. But when you get through it, it is free. And the coolest thing that I noticed, the very first time I ran this at eh, my very first launch of this, where there was no fitness involved at all. The group I had designed was to specifically, very, very specifically only focus on body image. I got the coolest lesson of my life that year. When we got all said and done, body image, finding the courage to accept our bodies as it was, had this trickle down effect that trickled into every single area of every woman in the program's life. It was wild, and I did not expect it. And I sat back, and that was when I was really like, wow, this is important. I had somebody who decided she was going to stand up for her job because she was sick of being walked all over and taken advantage of. I had somebody who addressed her relationship with her husband because since their children were born, she never turned on the lights. She was constantly always covered in a towel and never let anything, any part of her ever be actually seen, which we can all say is sounds fine. Like, what's wrong with that? Until you really start thinking about it. Like, what is the cost of that in your marriage? It could be significant. And we all deserve to have fun, right? I had somebody else who finally found the courage to call her doctor and seek help for her severe anxiety that she had been dealing with for years. And this is all because we worked on finding our worth within our bodies. Because this is the biggest takeaway I took. If you don't like yourself in your body, how will you ever expect to be treated as well as you should? If you can't accept yourself in your body, you're not going to stand up for yourself. You're not going to demand that people treat you better. You're not going to create boundaries that protect the life and the family that you want and you deserve. I had somebody else who finally, after years, I mean, this woman uncovered she uncovered truths that it still gives me goosebumps to think about. But she was invited on a weekend away with her sister and her sister's family. And for the first time in years, she agreed and said yes. She was terrified to go because she was uncomfortable in her skin. She knew she walked slower than everybody else. She always said no because she felt like she was holding other people back. Do you know what happened after that weekend? She came home, she said it was the most fun she's had in years. She's been missing out on that for years because she was embarrassed of her body. So, life after the breakup looks free. It it looks like fun, it looks like pleasure, it looks like whatever it is that you want it to be. And there is no greater place. I want you to imagine getting ready to take family photos, getting dressed, just going to take the freaking photos. Like, not stressing, not putting on 18 different things and turning sideways in the mirror, not practicing which side you're gonna hold your hip on and, worrying about buying shapewear for underneath, right? Now, here is one very important distinction I like to make. What I teach and what I work with is body acceptance. I truly, absolutely hate the culture or phrase or idea of body positivity. Because body positivity implies that you are running around naked all the time and you're like, "I love my body." No. Body acceptance means and says, when I'm still working to better myself, but I accept who I am. I accept what my body is. Doesn't mean you love it, but you're not going to let it rule your life. That's what body acceptance is. So I am Super pumped. You guys, I could talk about this for, like, days on end, and sometimes I overwhelm myself because there's so many things, and then one thing leads to the next thing and leads to the next thing, right? But it is it fires me up, it fuels my soul on a level I cannot even describe to you. And when we start talking about breaking up with diet culture, we are talking about breaking up with all of the pressure that society puts on you and breaking up with all of the rules that you've been given and coming to terms with what it is that you want, right? So, I had one goal before this live, and it did not happen because I I was having a day with the internet, and I believe that my program is actually still copying over here. I went to do an upload, and it told me 5.5 hours to upload a YouTube video. So that's, like, where I was at. I wanted to get it so that I could actually show you what the program looks like for the 6 weeks. But since I couldn't do that, I will get that done tomorrow, and I will post a separate video in the group so that you can see the back so you can see what the program actually looks like. I had planned to walk you through that on this live at right now at the end, but I can't actually walk you through it on the screen share. So, I'm just gonna answer if you guys have any questions at all, um, about the 6-week program, any questions at all about anything I said, anything that sits with you that you've been thinking of that, you want me to speak on, comment, guys. Leave me a comment because I will answer it and address it. I am now going to tell you a little bit about what the 6-week program looks like, what it includes, and I gave you a ton of amazing information today. I could keep giving you information, but I also feel like there's only so much we can take away, right? So here we go. The diet culture breakup, the 6-week program. All of the 6 steps that we talked about tonight, we spend one entire week on each and every step, and we go in depth with it. All right. So we get really in depth, and I ask you some really poignant journal prompts. The entire 6 weeks is built out in a brand new portal I have. So that's what I wanted to be able to show you. There are 42 lessons in the portal, one for each day. Now, here's the deal. Does it matter if you do every single one in the order? I like when you do them in order because I do think they flow. But does it matter if we finish the 6 weeks and you're only at week 2 or week 3? It's okay. I get it. Mom life. I get it. You have access to the portal forever. So that doesn't go away. Okay. So the online is really an at your own pace. Then we have 2 group Zoom calls a week. Now, they're at Tuesdays at 7 PM and Saturdays at 10 AM. I ask that everybody comes and commits to 1 a week. The reason is I truly believe that the group work as is as important, if not more important than the individual work, because it is so, so important for us to realize that we are not alone. Life is not meant to be lived alone. And so that is something that is insanely important for us to realize. And the more connection that we get and grow there, the stronger our convictions and our worth become. Because when we hear somebody else doubting themselves and we know them and we're like, "Oh my god, I would never think that she thought that," or, "Oh my," then we can start coming back to the fact that like, "Wait, I would never say that to her. So why am I allowing myself to feel like this about myself?" We can really, really I see the most growth happen in the group. So I ask everybody to commit to one, but everybody is welcome to come to both. It also includes in the portal. If you answer the journal prompts inside the portal, I will reply to them in the portal. If you do that, you are going to take your awareness and your results to a whole nother level because we are going to actually go back and forth about your prompts. It also includes one-to-one Voxer coaching. So what the one-to-one is really for things like further discussing the journal prompts, 2, creating the plan, your plan, which cannot look like anyone else's plan, or I shouldn't say cannot. It won't look like anyone else's plan, right? Because if you're saying, "I just want to get healthier," okay, what that means to you and what it means to someone else is gonna be 2 different things. If you're telling me that you have no problem moving every day, but you do have a problem with nutrition, what we are gonna discuss is gonna be totally different than the person who's like, "I wanna sleep all day and I don't wanna get up and take a walk around the block." So, that is where things get really individual, really specific, and I start helping you walk through your lifestyle changes. How do you need to change your lifestyle to get what you want out of life? Okay? You get the vault, you get forever. You get the portal forever. All of the group calls will be placed in there. And then you also get a secondary portal. And the secondary portal is the one that any and all future updates to the program will be made in. So let's say a year from now or 2 years from now, I change up something. I change up the videos. You're gonna have access to all of the new, but you're still gonna have your original portal. Like, no one's gonna take that away. Does that make sense? So, I am so excited because what I have seen happen with this program is incredible transformation of confidence. And I have really watched women step into their power with this program. I have stepped into my own power with this program. And I just truly feel like every woman out there deserves this. So the 6-week program is now up. It is now available for registration. Oh, I should tell you in the portal, the day, what it looks like is it looks like there's a video, there's a short little paragraph, and then on some of them, there's bonus content of different things from society, from YouTube, Instagram, wherever it's from. And then there is also the prompts. I should just put that out there for you. But what I want to tell you is I am really excited. So this is the official launch. This is the official kickoff. This program is 5 years in the making. I cannot even explain to you how much research I have done, how much practice I have done, how many ideas and things I have created and scrapped and resurfaced from different things. And I am so pumped. Now, with that said, if you have worked with me in the past, you have an idea of what my pricing schedule looks like. Schedule is not the right word. But as I'm stepping into even more power and even stepping into more of my actual dreams of what I want my life to look like post trauma and divorce, I am changing my pricing. So there will be some people who are like, wow, that's a lot of money. That's okay. There will be other people who'll be like, "Hmm, that really, that's it? That's all you're charging?" I want to say this. I recognize that and I understand. I get really squirrely when we have to talk about money. Like I always have, I always do. And so this is brand new for me to be openly talking about the money. And I have stepped into a point in my life where I am really leaning into what aligns and what feels good to me and blocking everything else out. So, at this moment, the price of the new program is going to be $2,500. But if you know me, you know I couldn't jump from old pricing to that without giving everybody like a little chance to still cash in on like old pricing, right? Like nobody should be surprised by that if you know me at all. Because the one thing I get really, really concerned about is always being transparent and always coming through on my word. So I am going to be dropping 4 coupon codes in the comments. All right. There are limited numbers of coupon codes available for each price. So I have 3 coupon codes available with the using the code Beta Ready, BETAREADY, and getting it for the original price of only $5.95, which is like what, $1,900 off? Like that is the best deal you're going to get, and it will never be that price again. The second code, I have 3 available of Beta Rock, BETAROCK. And that gets you the program for $8.95. Then I have 3 available for Beta Truth, BETATRUTH. And that gives 3 people the opportunity to grab it for $12.95. When all of those 3 codes are gone, there are unlimited amount of codes at Beta Save, BETASAVE, where everybody else can get it for $17.95. Okay. And then on the next launch, the price is going to be $2,500. So that is my ladder as I'm going to where I need to get um to kind of like cross the bridge, right? You guys, I cannot tell you thank you enough for spending this time with me. I want in this last week, I want to engage as much as possible in the Facebook group. So anything you are thinking, anything you see, anything that pops in your mind, throw it out in there. Start a conversation with me. I could literally talk about this all day long. So if you're on Voxer, send me a message, send me a voice message, and we can go back and forth until you tell me to stop talking. Okay. My goal is to help every woman who wants to step into her power worldwide. Because my biggest goal is to dismantle the patriarchy. But we can only do that if we're all confident and we all believe in ourselves and we all know our value. So, on that note, you guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And I will see you guys back in the group later tonight or tomorrow. All right. Mwah.